Everything changed the moment that phone call was answered, because the New York Giants didn't just hire a head coach. They declared war on mediocrity and quietly told the entire NFL that the old Giants are dead. For over a decade, this franchise has searched for direction, for identity, for someone strong enough to walk into one of the heaviest locker rooms in football history and command it without asking permission. And now, after years of false starts, half measures, and temporary fixes, the Giants have landed the biggest name, the biggest presence, and the biggest cultural reset of the 2026 coaching cycle. John Harbaugh is coming to New York, and the ripple effects are already being felt across the league. This isn't just another hire. This isn't a coordinator getting their first shot. This isn't a rebound candidate looking for redemption. This is one of the most accomplished head coaches of the modern NFL walking into a franchise that has been starving for legitimacy since 2011. And the most shocking part isn't that the Giants wanted him. It's that they got him. They beat out other suitors, moved fast, and made it clear that this time, there would be no compromise. 5 years, top-tier money, full authority. The Giants didn't dip a toe in the water. They jumped in headfirst. To understand why this move matters so much, you have to understand how broken the Giants' timeline has been. Since Tom Coughlin walked away, this franchise has lived in a constant state of reset. Ben McAdoo was supposed to modernize the offense. Pat Shurmur was supposed to develop a quarterback. Joe Judge was supposed to restore discipline. Brian Daboll was supposed to unlock creativity and confidence. Each era came with promises. Each era ended the same way. Confusion, losing seasons, another press conference about patience, another rebuild that never quite rebuilt anything. Now contrast that chaos with John Harbaugh's resume. 18 seasons, 12 playoff appearances, 6 division titles, a Super Bowl ring, a culture that endured through roster changes, quarterback transitions, and league-wide shifts. Harbaugh doesn't sell hope. He installs standards. And that distinction is exactly why this hire feels different. The Giants are coming off a brutal 4-13 season, and on paper, this roster looks like it should be years away. But Harbaugh has never been a coach who waits for perfect conditions. He wins in imperfect environments. He builds teams that punch above their weight. He thrives in moments where belief matters more than buzz. That's why the Giants identified him as their #1 target early and never looked back. When Brian Daboll was fired in November, it wasn't just about wins and losses. It was about erosion. Confidence had drained from the building. The locker room was fractured. The message wasn't landing anymore. And ownership knew they needed someone whose voice would cut through the noise instantly. John Harbaugh doesn't need to raise his voice to command respect. His presence does the work for him. What makes this hire even more fascinating is the timing. Harbaugh didn't leave Baltimore on his own terms. He was fired after a devastating Week 18 loss to Pittsburgh that cost the Ravens the AFC North and a playoff spot. Expectations in Baltimore were sky-high in 2025, and falling short triggered a decision that shocked the league. But that firing didn't diminish Harbaugh's value. It amplified it. The moment he was available, his phone didn't stop ringing. Atlanta called. Tennessee prepared a full interview team. Other franchises circled quietly. Everyone knew that if Harbaugh wanted back in, he would choose his destination. And he did. He chose New York. He chose pressure. He chose the biggest stage in the league. That decision alone tells you everything you need to know about how Harbaugh views the Giants. He doesn't see a rebuilding project. He sees a sleeping giant. He sees a roster with foundational pieces, a fan base desperate to believe again, and an organization finally ready to align itself behind one voice. Look at what he's inheriting. Jaxson Dart, a 2025 first-round quarterback who flashed legitimate star potential as a rookie, was part of Harbaugh's interview process. That matters. Harbaugh didn't just talk about scheme. He talked about leadership, accountability, and growth. Dart is a dual-threat quarterback who thrives on structure and confidence, two things Harbaugh excels at providing. This could be the most important pairing of the Giants' next decade. Up front, Andrew Thomas remains one of the league's elite left tackles, a cornerstone any coach would dream of building around. Malik Nabers, when healthy, is a game-changing receiver who tilts coverage. Cam Skattebo brings physicality and edge to the backfield. This offense isn't barren. It's incomplete. And Harbaugh has built winning offenses without superstar talent before. Defensively, the foundation is even stronger. Brian Burns is a proven Pro Bowler. Dexter Lawrence anchors the interior like few others can. Abdul Carter, the third overall pick, represents the future of the edge position in New York. Harbaugh has always believed that defense sets the tone. This unit already has teeth. It just needs direction, and that's where Harbaugh's true value lies. He's not coming in to reinvent football. He's coming in to stabilize it. His impact won't be flashy. It will be felt in practice habits, meeting room expectations, and how players carry themselves on Sunday afternoons. Culture isn't a buzzword to him. It's a requirement. One of his first moves signals exactly how serious this is. Todd Monken is expected to follow Harbaugh to New York. That continuity matters. Monken understands Harbaugh's expectations and brings an offensive mind that balances aggression with discipline. This isn't a random staff build. It's intentional. Another critical piece of this puzzle is Harbaugh's relationship with general manager Schoen. The Giants haven't always aligned the front office and coaching staff seamlessly. This partnership will define the next 5 years. Harbaugh has worked with strong personnel departments before. When there's trust, his teams thrive. When there isn't, tension follows. This offseason will reveal how much power Harbaugh truly has, and how committed the Giants are to doing things his way. There's also poetic symmetry in Harbaugh's return to the NFC East. Before Baltimore, he spent nearly a decade with the Philadelphia Eagles as their special teams coordinator. He knows this division. He understands its physicality, its rivalries, and its unforgiving nature. Coming back with the Giants isn't just a career move. It's unfinished business. For Giants fans, this hire feels like a long-awaited exhale. For the rest of the NFC, it's a warning. The Giants aren't content being a footnote anymore. They aren't chasing trends. They're betting on proven leadership. The league has shifted toward youth, innovation, and offensive fireworks. Harbaugh represents something different. Stability, toughness, accountability. And in a league built on cycles, that difference matters. What makes this moment truly compelling is what comes next. Harbaugh has never coached in New York. He's never dealt with this level of media scrutiny. Every decision will be magnified, every loss dissected. But if there's one coach built for that environment, it's him. He's been under the microscope for years. He understands pressure. He thrives in it. The Giants didn't just hire a coach. They hired credibility. They hired a standard. They hired a leader who has walked into locker rooms before and changed the trajectory of franchises. The question now isn't whether this move makes headlines. It already has. The real question is whether this is the moment the Giants finally stop rebuilding and start competing again. Whether this is the hire that ends the cycle of excuses. whether John Harbaugh can do in New York what he did in Baltimore, and maybe even more. So here's what I want to know from you. Was this the right move for the Giants to hand the keys to John Harbaugh? Or are they betting too much on the past to fix the future? Drop your take in the comments, because this decision is going to shape the NFC for years to come. One thing is certain, the Giants got their guy, and the rest of the league just felt the ground shift beneath them.